Welcome back to the Lockdown Show, ladies and gentlemen. In the house, Aganorsa Leafs Terrence. How are you, Bubba?
Just living the dream. Just living the dream.
Well, if you're with us, that's not a dream. It might be a nightmare.
Oh, that's the type of dream.
You know what? This has been a very, very interesting year, Terrence. We look at what happened early on in the year, February, March, COVID, and then everything stopped for us. Stops across the world, right? So I'm sure you had big plans. Were you down what were you doing in February, March? Were you down in the factories? Were you local?
Well, we
were you out
were
in the
at-
streets?
So we were in Texas.
We were in Texas, did an event, and then it was probably a week after that, the whole planet locked down.
The next in Florida, that Monday lockdown. I think it was a little longer other places, but I got back. So that event was a Saturday evening, and then on Sunday I flew back in the morning. And everything closed, and that was it. And it was like, you're driving and the rain is kind of catching up to you. That's what it was like. I got to Texas on a Friday. Like, I go to a shop, there's an announcement they're shutting down at the end of the afternoon, and then you go to the next place and NBA's been canceled, and then we do the event, and the next morning. I mean, so it was getting closer and closer, and I finally made it back just as it all went.
So my question to you is, did you get a break? Were you able to spend a little time with the family? Was there like a hard reset?
Not really.
For you?
Not really. Yeah, we went. We kind of assumed we were essential business, and nobody told us otherwise, and we just kept going. And I mean, what was different definitely is the travel. That was the longest I hadn't been on a plane in probably 15 years.
Right.
I mean, for you, God, I don't know how long it was for you, but definitely a long time.
Well, Clay's life has certainly changed.
I flew more when my mother was pregnant with me. And I've had to be next to this numbnuts for 7 straight months.
I mean,
But it's actually been fun.
It's been fun, and I mean, listen, it's like with anybody, whether it's with your spouse, your partner, whether it's with your BFF, your business partner. Eventually, you're going to drive each other crazy.
Yeah, if you're along with each other long enough, at some point in time, you want to kill each other.
Did you guys pump the brakes on any new projects that Aganorsa Leaf was going to be releasing?
We didn't stop anything. There's only one project that got delayed, but that had really nothing to do with the pandemic. It had to do with other factors. So we kept going with everything as is, and we just figured, if the world comes to an end, well, we'll just have a few more cigars,
And good ones at that.
Damn right.
So that was kind of the approach, is that we felt there was less risk in proceeding as is than there was in just not doing anything, and it paid off because we had some successful projects. I went into Aganorsa in 2017, right about now. It was December 1st of 2017 I joined Aganorsa.
Yeah, it's a fantastic brand. You're essentially the face of this company, even though you're not the owner. But but again, your name is associated with the company everywhere I go in brick and mortar, which is a testament to your passion for the company.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm in the shops. Definitely, I'm out there. Eduardo.
Oh, you're out there.
Yeah. Well, again, it's a relationship business, and the company when I was interviewing was very successful. They were very stable. They were well organized. But people didn't really know them.
Yeah.
And the best cigar you've never heard of is one you don't smoke.
Right.
And so really my role was to bring kind of preach the gospel and go out and work with our retail partners and consumers and introduce the brand and explain what Aganorsa is and what's special about it. And so, yeah, people recognize me, I guess, from that role.
And you definitely have that it factor, my friend, and I think that's special, and I think that it's relevant, and I think that I have seen the brand grow, and Eduardo and the rest of the team over there, they're lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you.
So you could let me preach it.
We'll tear you down about 5 minutes.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I'm enjoying it.
It's coming.
Dude, I think that Terrence said all the right things. He definitely said all the right things, I mean, for sure.
Well, again, remember, it really, I mean, the thing about the cigar industry that keeps you humble is that one person can screw the whole thing up. I mean, that person that puts the bands on puts too much glue.
Yeah.
The consumer doesn't go, oh, well, they did everything perfect. The guy that put the ring on just put a little bit too much glue. That's where I told the wrapper. They go, bad cigar, right? So it takes a lot of people for anything to go right. And so, in this business, it's even more because it's a handmade product and there's so many people involved. So anytime you have success, there's a lot of people that did, a great job.
Sure. Right. You had this massive transition from a brand that you loved in Casada, a family member.
Absolutely.
Right. And you make this massive transition. I remember the day that I had left Rocky Patel. And again, Rocky and Nimi and Nish and the rest of the family, these guys come and we share Thanksgivings together. We share Christmases together. Every chance that we get, we run down to Burn. We're having some cocktails, having cigars. That must have been a major transition for you to go from something, right, that's family oriented and a brand that had great success to a totally different clean slate in Aganorsa. What was that like for you?
Yeah, yeah. It's like your
changing
first day of high school or something.
like,
you know,
where am I?
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Trying to figure out who's who and
yeah, how everything works. And, you know, again, every company has a dynamic and has a way of kind of thinking and a definition of kind of the reality of how things work, and it's learning that and seeing how people think. You know, the key is like communication. Is that everybody, you know, what's meaningful to you is not meaningful to Clay, which is not meaningful to somebody else, and so
true.
it's kind of being able to see where they value, you know, what, and kind of utilizing that to make sure everything is cohesive.
So what do you think? I mean, you guys have had incredible success in the last 3 years. I mean, incredible success. You've got the ratings. The cigars are, I mean, the brand is on fire. It's out there.
cigar's fantastic.
The cigar is fantastic, obviously. And a lot of people are talking about you guys. I know you're out there. You're hustling. You're pushing it.
I'm getting nervous almost now. There's so much pressure now. You know, all the faces are on me. You know?
Clay's schwitzing. He's sweating over there.
Schwitz on you.
So what do you want everybody to know about Aganorsa, man?
So I think our focus is the tobacco we grow. I mean, I think that's the key focus. Generally, companies are kind of divide themselves, and this is a crude breakdown, into kind of cult of personality of the owner, lifestyle based, and then something about the product itself that kind of separates it. And then obviously there's, you know, crossover of all that. But for us, we're a product based company. The tobacco we grow is what makes us special. We've spent a lot of time telling people about our Corojo and Criollo tobaccos that we grow, and Jalapa, Esteli, and Condega. And that we use Cuban farmers that we brought over from Cuba. These weren't guys named Jose we found on the streets of Havana and said, you're a token Cuban. These are guys that were, you know, in Cuba tobacco for, in some cases, half a century working over there. Jacinto Iglesias, Chandito Gomez. And these guys were given the resources that they no longer had in Cuba to kind of produce that flavor profile and style that they remember from their early years in Cuba.
Oh, that's cool.
And so those are really the factors about Aganorsa that makes it special. I always say, you know, we're not that interesting of people. The only reason to smoke Aganorsa is because you love the tobacco.
You guys are doing a great job. And you would say that the it factor is definitely the fact that you are from seed to ash. That
Absolutely.
you are growing this tobacco, that it's old school, that you're surrounded by all these. And he outed us, by the way, right?
Oh,
when he said that
absolutely.
we have the authenticity over here, and then it's just like,
Well, you know.
Sammy and Clay. Because we have a couple of Jose's.
A couple of clowns.
The Guardian of the Farm. What's the significance of the name of that? I know it. I know Clay knows it, but we want everybody else to know it.
It's a wonderful question. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So Guardian of the Farm began, the original edition began as a collaboration with Warp Cigars. It's a brand we make many cigars for. And the owner, Kyle Gellis, and Max Fernandez, Eduardo's son, got together, both dog lovers, and they named the cigar after their dogs. Kyle has a dog, and one of the sizes was named after his dog. And we have dogs we use to guard the fields, and each one is named after one of them. They're American Bulldogs. There's not a lot of American Bulldogs in Nicaragua, so if you're stealing something, it looks like a Yeti's coming after you because you're like, what the hell? You know? That was how kind of the beginning of the brand, and this is the second edition of it, which was done completely on our own. And so we wanted to create a Maduro version that highlighted that new wrapper we had.
Very cool. This is very unique because we had a lot of guys that did this virtually yesterday. You're literally the second guest that we've had on the lockdown set for this version of the lockdown. I mean, I couldn't thank you more for taking the time. Obviously, if you're a true cigar aficionado, you want to pick up Guardian of the Farm. This is a very eclectic, unique cigar.
What's really fantastic now is the question you get to answer.
Oh, okay, great.
That retailer sent in.
Clay's Jar of Love.
Oh, the Jar of Love.
Oh, the Jar of Love. Oh, Tracy at Michael's in Euless.
Oh, wow.
When is the last time you shit your pants? Tracy.
I was potty trained around 2 years old or so I would assume it was
That's
somewhere.
it?
Yeah.
Well, you are the one.
Yeah.
You're the one. You're the
Because
one.
I can't say
I
that.
think it's the height.
Yeah.
Height.
It takes so long to get through that, like, by the time I know what's going on, I have time to save myself.
If
It's
you're
us.
working, so if you haven't tried Aganorsa Leaf, everybody, and you didn't get a lockdown pack because they did sell out, make sure you go to your brick and mortar, support the family, support Terrence, who really has a passion for this company, and continue watching the lockdown.
So from Sammy and Terrence and Clay, you are watching the Cigar Lockdown.
Aganorsa Leaf, yalla.
Yalla.